molesting the decapitated, reduced to a limbless sex slave, uh, wading through rancid offal, gargling with infected semen. These are not album titles of pop bands. These are not album titles of nice little hard rock bands like Godsmack. Hell, these aren't even album titles of death metal bands like Cannibal Corpse. These belong to a different a different beast, similar to Cannibal Corpse and Suffocation and Immolation and all those good bands of like the '90s NYDM scene. But it's a little bit different than that. I'm talking, of course, about the world of slam death and also of brutal death metal. But we'll focus on slam death just a little bit more, although the distinction is vague. Slam death is a style of music characterized by slams. What is a slam? What is a slam? Well, a slam is a slow part. It's slow, and double bass is used. It's groovy. But unlike Pantera groove, it doesn't make you want to drink Jack Daniels and go, kill people who disgrace the corpse of Dimebag Darrell or something. It makes you want to, gouge out eyes of mutilated infants. Mmm, tasty. It makes you want to, go out and slay. The genesis of slam, or genesis, I guess, of slam death. I mean, one could talk about breakdowns and slow parts and mosh parts in 1980s crossover thrash or hardcore punk, um, which no doubt contributed to bands such as Suffocation using them. The whole punk and metal crossover, SOD, and things like that. The first slam death recording, to my knowledge, is the 1983. Oh, that'd be really awesome. 1993 demo by the band Afterbirth called Psychopathic Embryotomy. 4 tracks of pure awesomeness, and it's amazing how brutal it sounds even today. Bands like Cannibal Corpse, Tomb of the Mutilated, and Suffocation's Effigy of the Forgotten kind of wrote the blueprint for slam, and Internal Bleeding did too, along with Dying Fetus, more brutal death metal. Um, However, yeah, Afterbirth really kind of crystallized it, which is weird because they didn't really get that much, airtime, and I'd be surprised if anyone really knew about the band. Devourment are often claimed as one of the first slam, or is the first slam death metal band. However, like I said, Afterbirth, to my mind, is. But their 1999 album, Molesting the Decapitated, is no doubt the first slam album. Maybe Vomit Remnants too. Vomit Remnants is one and only album. Um, Slam Death's guitars are they don't I mean they don't always do really fast. They're mostly groovy. Um, if you really want to listen to Slam, listen to just get uh, the kind of archetype of a Slam song would be Baby Killer by Devourment. And if I could edit, I would edit in the song right now. But I can't. So there's some blast beats and there's some, but it's mainly slow, groovy stuff. Vocals are um, usually pig squeals, as they call them, or frogs, or crickets, or um, the drums are often double bass, kind of mid pace to slow, maybe a little more groovy, maybe a little more, not doom. it's not doom. It's not a breakdown either. It's like I said, it's a little different than a breakdown. A slam. I mean, it really is what it sounds like. It really does sound like it's slamming. Um, they do blast occasionally, and gravity blasts. A technique that I never liked personally. Gravity blasts. Bass is usually absent, although I know on I think it was either disfigurement of flesh or epicardiectomy. Um, you can actually hear the bass. The similarity from slam to rap is actually quite distinct. I mean, they're both rhythm based, and I mean, if you look at bands like Epicardiectomy, they look like the biggest rap posers in the world. I know I'm blind, but I've had the pictures described to me so much so that if I had heard what they look like before I listened to them, I probably wouldn't have checked them out. Just how can anyone look that dorky? You know, but fortunately, they more than make up for it in music. Now, Brutal Death, it might have slams in it, but it's more concerned with fast, being fast. So that's why in my mind, slam and brutal are two distinct entities. Whereas Brutal Death is all about being fast and fast. Slam Death is about face melting, skull crushing, slam, fucking death. Yeah. You can tell I like slam, huh? It has generated a lot of controversy. I don't mean in the, oh my god, they're singing about this. I'm talking about controversy in the metal scene. Death metal fans hate slam. Brutal death metal fans hate slam, especially the more technical fans of bands like Wormed. I love Wormed, but and Human Mincer, they tend to dismiss slam. Um, which, to be honest, I can understand. Slam is not for everyone. I mean, even my friends who love brutality even say sometimes that slam just doesn't work for them. Mainly the vocals, mainly just the stupid knuckle dragging quality of the music. But that's why I love it. I love it because it's not, you know, sorry, still have a kind of a cough. It's not, you know, smart technical music for people who play classical music. It's music. It's it's stupid music. I love it. Um, I first got into Slam BDM because of Last.fm. Back when Last.fm was actually good. More on that later. And I thought brutal death metal was. I mean, I'd heard kind of pig squealy vocals before, mainly in deathcore, but also in things like Circle of Dead Children. That really cool, death grindy, weird, awesome band. So I had heard that, and I clicked on the brutal death metal radio station on Last.fm. For some reason, Death Clock was tagged as brutal death metal, which I thought was hilarious. But then you had stuff like Gorgasm, Human Mincer, Cephalotropsy. And yes, I know Human Mincer and Gorgasm aren't slam. I didn't know the difference, and I didn't know what to think of them. They were good for one or two songs, but then you just get a headache. Even I got a headache, and even I was like, wow, this is really loud and really, especially I mean, music was not the vocals. Human Mincer has this insane vocalist who's. I don't think he's. I'm pretty sure he's not audio affected, which is amazing. He sounds like an evil pig. And by the way, that's what I love. Don't pitch shift your voice. If you can't do slam vocals, don't do slam vocals. If you can't hit those notes without digging around with some software, just give up, go back to your mom's house, and start crying. Darren Palmer, I'm looking at you. Sorry, fuck Darren Palmer. He gives slam a bad name. But yeah, so I was like, wow, this is somehow I bought. Despite my this is too brutal. I still bought Human Mincer's Degradation Paradox, and every now and then I would listen to it. I mean, I would put it away, but every now and then I would listen to it. And then I was like, and then I got into artery eruption and epicardiectomy, and I was like, I discovered the beauty of brutal death metal and slam, and it's just, it is for me. It's always been for me. A couple points about one of the things I hate about slam is the bedroom bands. A lot of slam bands are bedroom one-man bands with drum machines, very bad drum programming. Um, they take, whatever gore themes they can find. I'm not sure they have. I mean, I know Darren Palmer doesn't do gore themes. He did dinosaurs. He did space, but he didn't actually. He never actually sang real lyrics. It was literally just him going, and then putting it through a pitch shifter. Um, I mean, his music was kind of funny at first, but it didn't do anything for me. He has one review of Metal Archive, and it's a bad review, and I love it. Take that, you slimy bitch. Um, I'm not saying bedroom bands can't be bad. It's just a lot of them just sound kind of mediocre. And that's another thing. Slam, Carcass had medical, you know, terms because Jeff Walker, I believe his sister was a nurse, so she had a medical dictionary. These bands, I really think every time you hear a band with like a medical, I know Cephalotropsy is real, but everyone with those huge medical names that are just really long, I'm convinced they pull it out of their ass. As a Phagothomia, is it Phagothomia, whatever name is? I'm sure that doesn't mean anything. I am sure they just pulled that clear out of thin air. Um, but whatever, they're a good band. They're a good band. So, Slam and deathcore. Here's something I get asked a lot. Slam does have a relation to deathcore because the slow parts are the one's a slam, one's a breakdown. The thing about it is, it's more extreme deathcore. It's it's old waking the cadaver and old annotations of an autopsy. You're not going to hear it may hear a little bit in Suicide Silence, but not really, not the new stuff at least. You're not going to hear it in you know these kind of more emo orientated deathcore bands that I'm not even sure why they're called deathcore. I mean, at least the good deathcore has some death metal in it. The ones that are more metalcore than deathcore, you will hear them some slam influence in other bands. Like I said, old Waking the Cadaver, not so much new. I don't know. You know, fucking. I'm sorry, my mind just blanked. Sorry, I was interrupted there. But yeah, it was stuff like Waking the Cadaver, and God, okay. I wish I could edit it because someone just opened my door, and I'm just like, what the? Get out! I'm trying to do something here. Fucking people don't have any, relation to privacy or anything. Um, and some slam bands will cross over some medium, but Pathology included some deathcore into their music or whatever. But yeah, generally slam and deathcore aren't the same thing. I mean, you might find some extreme core kids who like slam. I mean, you might, but generally, I don't think they're are really compatible because deathcore is just not as evil. The samples on slam bands are hilarious. Anyone who's ever listened to it, Amputated or Artery Eruption, who's my personal favorite slam band, um, knows what I'm talking about. The samples are amazing. So yeah, that's slam. I mean, it's not the most thorough discussion of it. Well, okay, I guess I'll give you some slam recommendations. Why not? Artery Eruption, my favorite slam band. If you can take raw production and you don't mind bad musicianship, uh, Listen to them. Cephalotropsy. Listen to them because they're amazing. Um, I only like the first. There's that Russian band who. Fuck, what was the name? Ah, not Cerebral Incubation. That Russian band who did "In the End of Human Existence." Them. Check that album out, but don't check the second album out because I don't like it. Hey, I like Meat-Headed Slam. I don't want technicality. I forgot the name. Epicardiectomy is really good. Um, yeah, those bands. I mean, just look around. Medic Vomiting Pus, Infernal Revulsion. They're really good. Um, a lot of bands from Russia and Japan. So that's, of course, Devourment and Afterbirth. Go get that Afterbirth EP or demo. Do it. So that basically sums it up about Slam. Another awful rant from me. You can email me at ellinthemood@gmail.com. Um, at ptradio666 for the Twitter, facebook.com/politicaltrendy for my blog or Facebook page that I never update, facebook.com/FUS for my very non-slam band, although we could be slam if we wanted to. Although we'd have to change FUS to something different. The names, if you can come up with a medical terminology for FUS, that'd be great. I have been Elliot Lindemood, and you have been bored. Stupid fucking stupid. Slam. So I've been Elliot Lindemood. Slam.